Hello, radio metal listeners. Lucas Pirani from the Folk Metal program and the Folk Metal column here. I'm about to interview this band, Teve, from the Faroe Islands, one of the greatest folk metal bands in the world. And these guys are currently playing a tour here. They played in Belo Horizonte the day before yesterday and in São Paulo yesterday. And today these guys will play here, Curitiba. So, tell me, for first, what are you thinking about this tour and the concerts in Brazil so far? Like?
It's extremely good. Very good. Really. I think the concert yesterday was probably one of the best concerts ever played.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I've heard that you consider São Paulo a very full place, isn't it? A lot of people.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah. It's very big, very crowded.
A lot of crowd. Yeah. Before coming to Brazil, what was the furthest place you have ever played at?
Canada, Vancouver.
Oh, nice. That's a great country.
Yeah.
So one thing, the Brazilian mythologies, the culture, everything you have is very different from the mythology and the culture that you have in your country. And even so, you have many fans over here. And people really like the things that you bring in your songs, the things that you bring in your lyrics. People want to learn about it. How do you think about that? People want to learn about mythology from your country through your music.
I think that's fine. Also, that if they learn about the country or anything else about the Faroes or Scandinavian music, it's really good. It makes us more famous.
Yeah,
It makes us more like ambassadors for Faroe. It's a good thing. No matter where people are.
Some of your lyrics are written in Faroese and some are in Danish. What is the public feedback about it?
I think there's not really any difference. Some of the songs that are in Danish or Faroese or Norwegian are just as popular as the English songs. So yeah. I never heard anyone say that because of this it's in the Faroese I don't like it. So,
like yesterday we played Irish songs and people were singing along really loudly.
For example, the days we
and in Brazil. Something like that.
Okay. Many folk metal bands choose for adding traditional instruments like bagpipes, hurdy-gurdy, even flute. But nevertheless, Teve keeps the classical formation of a heavy metal band. What's the reason for it?
It's in our traditional music there is no instrument.
Only singing in traditional.
yes.
Because we don't like
Yeah, we like to keep the classical heavy metal sound also because we never wanted to be classified as a folk metal band.
Okay. Yeah. There's nice. Thank you for Simples Visa, Lago de Dararos, Murinlangi are among of my favorite songs, and I watched some videos with the Faroese people sing the traditional version of the songs, like just singing, with no instruments, just the people from their country. And we will intend to change more traditional Norse ballads into metal, like these ones.
No, we've already done a lot.
We've done a lot.
Yeah, there's one area at least probably will do it so many years.
It's a good way to represent it for the youth.
Yeah, cool. And just for curiosity, what do the old people from your country think when they listen to weird metal version of Simples Visa?
some of them like it, some of them hate it.
Some of them hate it.
I think we rule everything.
Yeah, so
Guys are good at madness, I think.
We're very proud.
Yeah, the conservative people.
I'll say
yeah.
But again, it is a really good way to get to learn about this. way through I go back to the original.
One curiosity that I have, do you have music as a subject in your school schedule? What's the kind of support that the schools in your country give to the traditional music and to the heritage in your country?
You didn't have one for that.
We had quite a few.
I had some of the traditional music in school. Depends on the teacher, really.
Yeah.
It's not an official part of.
We had a history teacher. He was really someone who asked him a question about very dance. He would just start dancing.
As a
Yeah, also in history, I remember we learned about mythology when I was probably in 4th grade. And I had a really good history teacher. He was a deacon in the church. I did that through school also, but really, I think that was the teacher.
Okay.
It's a very religious teacher, who probably won't make it.
About the Brazilian cities and concerts, which one did you like the most so far?
São Paulo,
São Paulo.
I'll say again, that was one of our best concerts ever. The one before yesterday was not bad either.
that was right.
That was something was really good. And
I see.
yeah, better.
One thing, Queer has a progressive sonority which sounds pretty natural. Sounds pretty natural for me. Some elements of your songs, like the backbeats and the odd time rhythms, they sound really natural. Is there some cultural factor, or is there some that contributes for this future of your songs? Some cultural stuff.
The thing with the traditional banda from Faroese is that it's all in odd time. So it's never in straight time signature. So if we make music based on that, it will always turn out like progressive.
It doesn't sound like all time when you hear it.
Exactly. So that's why it sounds so natural when you play it. The vocal line actually all hang together very nicely. If you play the vocal line, it sounds very cryptical and strange.
About the last album, The Lay of Three, could you talk a little bit about these mythological characters, Three, and what he represents?
Yeah, he's the giant who stole Thor's hammer, and Thor was trying to get the hammer back. This guy is to make a long story. And I actually started writing the lyrics about the subject of the uprising in Africa. And I used the myth to represent that the Serbius is the dictator and the tyrant, and Thor represents the rebellion, the hammer represents the power and the weapon. So, but you can also see that in the lyrics, like about the guy on the things he was setting himself on fire in Tunisia and started the revolution. For example, in the zone is free. So there's a very contemporary underlying subject to it, which is a thing we've done on all our albums. That's seeing about dressing dressing issues only represented through it.
Nice, nice. It's very, very interesting. You bring some old stuff into a context from nowadays. It's very nice. Your idea? Nice idea, man.
No, I just think it's
You're probably
The dance song calls.
I want the house, I don't know what you're talking about.
Besides the influence that you have from the Norse culture, what are the bands that influence your work? The metal band.
David? Yeah, can you give us 5 minutes? Can you give us 5 minutes? Yeah, he said
Judas Priest closer because of the sound.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Judas Priest, you.
Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden. I'm not content.
Well, for me, it's not there.
Yes, I know you have a cowboy from hell.
And more recently, bands like On the March and Saga.
The last album brings us two cover songs as bonus tracks, Black Sabbath and Dio. I really like the idea mainly because this Dio's album represents, has a good meaning for me. Rainbow, that's the word. That was the first time that I heard Dio in my life, and I was a little child, so it has a good meaning for me. It's really nice. And we intend to do it again in the upcoming albums.
There are already two covers in the plan for the next album. Not with Dio, but Iron Maiden and Pantera.
And now I'm eager to hear that. Okay, I guess that's the end of the interview. I would like to give some message to radio metal.
Radio metal listeners, please buy our albums and come to our shows. And see you there. So,
Thank you. And it's done. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know how. Thank you. See you guys tonight. Oh, yeah. Yes. Are you gonna play just like this?